Yo, before the podcast starts, I just want to let you know where to find the Spin the Rock podcast. We are on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So make sure to give us 5 stars and a like now that we have video format. You can also check us out on Twitter at Spin the Rock and TikTok at Spin the Rock, where you can get episode updates and clips. All the links will be in the description. Thank you for listening.
Hello and welcome to the Spin the Rock podcast. I am your host, Angel, and with me today is
Eugene?
Vaughn.
back to back like we're Drake because we're missing Tyler today. But all good, because it's official. The first episode of what I am calling the preseason episodes. No more off-season talk. We're going to get hyped for the regular season that's coming up in like a month. So exciting. So we're just going to get right into it. No news, I don't think. The only news I think is worth mentioning is probably Dennis Schroeder's re-signing with the Lakers and the Lakers robbing him.
Nah, completely.
Turned down $84 million just to re-sign for 2. I'd be sick to my stomach. How do you feel about Dennis on the team again, Eugene?
I don't know. I just hate when teams do that in general. They signed him originally. I was excited for the first time, but then he left for was it a year or 2? I think it was 2 years, and then now we re-signed him. It was what was the point? And then on top of that, we're rocking 3 point guards now that all don't like each other, basically. So they all have some kind of prior history. But we'll see.
It's not like they got vastly different skill sets you can tune your offense to. They all can't really shoot consistently. Maybe you got Pat Bev in the corner and he shoots at 3, but I always thought the Lakers team needed more shooting, and I don't know, Dennis Schroeder is the move.
Yeah, it's so weird. They're I think Dennis is the only one who's super passy. Russ and Pat Bev aren't that much of pass making point guards.
I'll agree with you on that. Russ will get his assists, but Dennis is probably more of a pass first point guard. I think I'll agree with you on that, yeah.
So they're both finishers. All 3 of them are finishers.
Right.
So that's so weird. And they're also, another rumor is that they're gonna bench Russ. That's a highly considered option. I'm sorry, but Pat Bev and Dennis, I know he had a bad season, but he's not worse than those 2. I'm so sorry.
Right.
That's just so disrespectful.
Dennis is more traditionally a 6th man. He had success in OKC because he was the 6th man behind Chris Paul and Gilgeous-Alexander. So that just doesn't make sense,
Yeah. The Russell Westbrook, at first I was here for it, but now it's getting out of control. The slander is getting way out of control.
Even the team is falling into it, so
yeah, facts.
Yeah, we'll see how the season goes.
Yes, the Lakers have some weird things going on. It's not a season if the Lakers don't have some form of drama.
Exactly.
Moving on to our hot seat. We still have a hot seat, even though Tyler's not here. And the question today, starting with Eugene, most iconic arena currently.
Most iconic arena. I mean, I don't want to be biased, but wouldn't it be Staples / the Forum? You have the Showtime Lakers in the Forum.
Crypto.com arena.
Yeah, I was about to correct you on that.
Nah, still Staples in my heart, bro. Still Staples in my heart. Nah, but I mean, I feel like that would, so much has happened in both of those arenas. And then, with it turning to Crypto.com, who's to say not more is going to happen? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same venue, but, under different name. I don't know. I think that would probably be the most iconic, but yeah.
I mean, there's just history there.
Yeah,
you can't really
all
do
types.
that.
No, that's a
Yeah.
solid answer. Bias aside, it's still, even with the bias, it's still a solid answer.
Right.
It's not like you're a Pacers fan saying like like you're no like Staples Center is a
Yeah.
pretty good
Who's-
answer.
Who's in the woodwork and be like, no, that's a wrong answer. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's a great answer. I guess I gotta go with the big one, Madison Square Garden, because like even if the Knicks are garbage, like people always describe like playing in Madison Square Garden, MSG. You know, like even if like the opposing team is winning, like the crowd's still going crazy. I mean, go back to like the "fuck Trey Young" chants. Like it's
He doesn't
always
even have to
allowed.
be there for them to chant it. So it's like
Facts.
So yeah, that's just like a storied venue as well. It's part of like one of the oldest franchises in the NBA. So that's what I got to roll with.
Another solid one. I feel like everyone talks about like everyone has a Madison Square Garden story. I feel like in the NBA. So that's like a pretty and even like Madison Square Garden is just iconic. Period. Doesn't even matter what sport we're talking about.
right.
Right.
So it's just like a pretty solid answer. I'm gonna say United Airlines when the Bulls play, just because like I don't know I feel like they make him feel special, like playing the Michael Jordan like song like the da 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 like introduce
Right.
like players have said like I love walking into the arena because I feel like I'm Michael Jordan, like I feel like I'm about to go out there and go crazy because like they just make it feel special.
I think I would agree with that one too. Because I mean, I think Michael Jordan and the 90s Bulls made that iconic in itself. So then as time goes on and rolls on, it's like, oh man, I'm playing for this like super historic franchise that did like crazy numbers, won hella chips. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But I think yeah, that's definitely a solid answer.
Oh yeah. I feel like a lot of NBA arenas are like kind of iffy on that though. I feel like R3 is pretty like obvious, but there's not a lot I would also like throw in there. Like maybe the Barclays Center, but even then it's like that's like
I would throw Boston in there.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
Boston too.
Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Angel actually been there, so we've, like,
True,
seen
true.
that. Fans are crazy there for real.
But yeah, no, fans are actually insane there. Like I remember going the first time and being overwhelmed because I think that was my first ever like sporting event besides like a baseball game. But like it's the Rockies, so like fans don't really have anything to be excited about. But like going to like my first basketball game in Boston, I was like, holy, like I'm gonna like I might get beat up if I say the wrong thing or look at someone wrong. It's like
No, that's facts though.
but no, they're actually like I don't know. Because I'm not a player, they were nice to me. Like I'm pretty sure because I had a Terry Rozier shirt on, I seemed friendly. I'm pretty sure if you showed up in the opposing team, they wouldn't have been so nice to me.
Well, it was like they were playing the Wizards, and it's not like there's a whole lot of bad blood today against the Wizards.
That's true.
Like everyone's like, "Oh, Bradley Beal to the Celtics." Like, if anything, they'd be like cheering Bradley Beal, come here, you know. One other arena I'd shout out is Toronto's arena, because those fans are pretty crazy too. It feels like a spectacle being there. Like those fans are like so hyped. Like obviously rambunctious because when they won the championship they were like out in the streets tearing light posts down and shit. But it was just so loud in there, and I think I might even put it above TD Garden for being there because it really was just like a crazy experience being there. Also, I was like a Celtics fan at the Raptors, so like it was a different experience.
That's a good choice too, because even before they won the chip, the whole Vinsanity era, and it was like, him and T-Mac on the team, and everybody was like super excited. Exciting plays, players, all that. So definitely good answer too.
Yeah, especially because you can see Drake. Like, there's
Yeah,
a
I saw
strong
the back
chance
of
in
his
this.
head. The back of his head.
So nothing like seeing Drake standing up and clapping at Joel Embiid or the star on the other team. Moving on, we got some solid ones out there. We're gonna be talking about today young cores. This teams that have an exciting young core that like might do something in the future. These are like, I wouldn't say necessarily the best young cores. I feel like most of it is like probably favoritism, just a tiny bit. Because if we're doing the best, it would be kind of like obvious on which ones.
Right.
But like, we're just gonna look at East, West, and if we have time, maybe discuss our own young cores. Do we have any? Will they be played? What if our favorite young core is our team? So we're gonna start with the East, and we're gonna start with Vaughn. Favorite Eastern young core.
All right. Well, this shit ain't my favorite, but I feel like for for as much young talent as there is there, I feel like this episode would kind of be like lacking if we didn't mention them. I said the Magic, and
All right.
this is gonna go hand in hand with my West team. I'll mention later, but like the Magic, they don't develop talent. They get a nice young promising guys. Like what happened to Aaron Gordon? They said he was gonna like have his breakout season like every year, and then they traded him. And how long they've been saying Mo Bamba is gonna break out?
That's
Like,
facts.
since the league. So I do have a list of them of notable names. I'll miss some along the way because like they're like second rounders or no one knows them. But I got of course Paolo. He's only 19,
Mhm.
and like obviously you're a high end pick. People are gonna have big expectations for you. Will he save that franchise? I don't know. I really don't know. But they got hella guards. They got R.J. Hampton, Jalen Suggs, Markel Fultz, and then Cole Anthony, obviously. And then they had a good rookie last year, Franz Wagner. I think he's Mo Wagner's brother or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Franz Wagner looks good. Bull is there. Who knows what happens to him? Of course, Mo Bamba. They got Jonathan Isaac. He's still only 24. I don't know if Magic fans gas him up. I don't think I've ever seen Jonathan Isaac play because he'd been hurt the last 2 years or something. So who knows if he develops an offensive game. And then Wendell Carter Jr. I got him on there, who I think if anyone on this team can have a breakout season, it'll be him. Because last season he averaged 15 and 10, I think it was, on pretty good efficiency. And he shoots the three. And if he improves that 3-pointer, I think his stats are just going up. So I do like him. I really don't know what to make of the guards, though, like R.J. Hampton, Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, Markel Fultz. If I was the Magic, I would honestly try to get rid of Mo Bamba, Markel, and Jonathan Isaac, because those are all 24-year-olds. The rest are either 23. Wendell Carter's 23. The rest are 22 or younger. And there's kind of like a log jam there, of young talent. And there's one ball. Some guys aren't going to get the minutes they probably should get to develop. I think the Magic actually got to make moves to move off of some of those young guys. But who knows if they do that? They're not exactly trade savvy. Like they still have Terrence Ross there. And they got Gary Harris, who's another guard. Like they don't need any more guards.
Hey, but they gonna keep on getting them.
Yeah.
They gonna keep on getting them.
There's that one report. They're interested in Jordan Poole. Like,
Yep.
why? Like, come on, get some forwards in there.
It's insane
yeah,
how many young guards they have. It's like actually insane.
Yeah, honestly, I expect if like a team is gonna like get off their veterans, start their rebuild, I feel like they'll look to the Magic to get some young talent. At least I would expect that.
Mhm.
If I was a GM who is in rebuild mode.
Yeah, the Magic is interesting. I thought about talking about them, but like the guard thing just made me so like I'm like I don't know how I'm gonna like talk about this without bringing up the guards like 3 times because everyone talks about how many guards they have. Like it's
Right.
a well-known thing that they have way too many guards. Most of them drafted back to back.
Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs.
Like it's insane.
Like I don't even know like who I'd choose, you know, because I haven't really seen much of RJ Hampton and Jalen Suggs game. I know Cole Anthony looks nice with it, but he's ball dominant and he's inefficient. Like I think he's less than 40% from the field. So I think he really needs a team where he's got the keys in order for him to like find his spots better. So I just for that matter, it's just a mess. I don't know. Not of the guard play. Obviously get rid of your vets, but like I don't know who's the future of the of that backcourt.
Yeah.
Because they got so many backcourt players.
Yeah. Who I can't even guess who they're gonna choose. Like it's kind of hard, like because it's so early in all of their careers. So like choosing one feels like it's just like it's gonna be so difficult. All right, I'll say my East team. I'm going with the Raptors. I feel like their young core is pretty solid. They're kind of doing what the Thunder is doing, but in like a less obvious way, which is like drafting tall, lender men who can like shoot and play make. Like they're basically doing the KD thing. I don't know. I just feel like their performances are all pretty insane. Like Barnes was rookie of the year, and he was like 49% from the field, averaging 15, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Anobe is like the only one I'm kind of worried about because I feel like he's always injured. Like he had a finger injury, and like every time he's like, "Oh, he's coming back," it would be like 2 days later, and it's like, "JK, he's like still hurt." So it's like he does pull up solid numbers. It's just like the injuries is like so weird. I feel like I 25 years old and he's been injured a lot lately. Gary Trent, a steal from Portland.
Bro, that was
A robbery?
crazy. That was highway robbery.
A mugging. I mean, only 23 years old. He brings shooting on the team. 6 in steals last year, which is crazy. Like averaging, I think 1.7, almost 2 steals a game. Shooting like 18 from the field, 18 points. And not only that, but like I feel like he adds so much because like I feel like their shooting is kind of wishy-washy. Like sometimes they'll have good shooters and sometimes like their shooters will get cold for a little bit.
Mhm.
So I feel like them getting Gary Trent was a big pickup. And then their late, I think, I don't know how to say this name. I'm just gonna say Precious Achiuwa.
Precious Achua, yeah.
Precious Achua. Another low-key kind of steal because they got him for Kyle Lowry. And like he's really good on D. Like I feel like that's one of his biggest like impacts on the court is like his defense. And especially he's only 22 years old. So I just feel like they have a bright future in them because they're all almost under 25. The only one who's not is Anunoby. But not only that, but they almost came back 3-0 in the playoffs. They were like against the Sixers, and they almost came back this close. I feel like they lost in 6.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
And like even in the 6th game, it's like the first half had you being like, "Oh my god, are we gonna go to 7?" And then the second half is when like the Sixers like, "We're not gonna let this happen." The Sixers were like, "Let's get it together," and they kind of stomped them out in the second half. But like they had me thinking low key. I was like, "Holy cow!" Like they're gonna come back. Like they're gonna make it a game 7.
If Scotty Barnes is healthy for that series, who knows what kind of magic goes on, you know?
Oh
They're
yeah,
playing in Toronto.
Oh, for sure. It's like I'm probably sure they wouldn't have even gone down 3-0 if Scotty Barnes was healthy. And if Gary Trent like did better from the three, because I think he did like 42% during the series. Like if he wasn't like so mediocre from the three, like the Sixers could have been in trouble. It would have been an
Yeah.
upset for sure.
It's like the Raptors are bums. Like they have Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, who've both been
Yeah.
all-stars. So
Yeah.
they've got that young, hungry team with a former coach of the year. So it was honestly totally possible, especially with Doc Rivers coaching the Sixers.
The Doc Rivers slander. Yeah. I just think that the Raptors young core is like one of the more underrated ones because they have like Siakam and Van Fleet. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how many young players is on that team that like contribute.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Like when you were at first, I was like the Raptors. That's kind of weird. But then you started listing off, all the other players, and I was like, huh, like they actually are young. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people sleep on the Raptors. Like, I'm pretty sure if I didn't say they came back 3-0 almost, most people would have thought it was like an easy 6-game series.
Right.
So I just feel like the Raptors are kind of like underrated in terms of their young core. Like, I'm not saying they're the best, but they are like a young core that has me excited. They're not on the same level as like maybe Cleveland and Boston, but they're like missing a few pieces I can take in there.
Right. Well, you already said my team. I'm saying Cleveland. Recent addition, Donovan Mitchell, add along Darius Garland and Jared Allen. Who else they have? Karis LeVert. Both the Mobleys, like Isaac Okoro. They're pretty young, pretty solid. Like that's a good squad to roll with in my eyes.
Oh yeah, that's a really exciting young core.
Yep, it's gonna be interesting to see how they play though, the backcourt in terms of how much Garland gets the ball. Because Donovan Mitchell's a superstar and Garland was the main ball handler for the Cavs. Prior seasons. So it's going to be interesting, but I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Where do you think they finish this year coming up? Like, what's the expectation for them?
Top 6.
Oh,
Top 6.
definitely. They were the 8th seed last year.
But they got dropped in the play-in, no? Or did they make the playoffs?
Jarrett Allen was hurt and Colin Sexton was out completely, I think.
Yeah.
So they were
Right.
in person.
And
But they did miss the play. No, they lost the play-in, I think.
Yeah, they did. But like they still were like tied with the Nets for the 8th seed, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they had like the same exact record.
Something like that. That East play-in last year was actually insane. It was like 4 teams. Like what?
Yeah.
I like the Cavs.
I think I see them going top 5. I know that's only one more than you, but I feel like top 5 is like for sure. Especially if the Jazz were top 5 for so long. They had less personnel.
I was gonna say top 5, but then you got to think about who's in the East. You got the Heat, the Celtics, the Bucks, give or take the Sixers, and then the Bulls, give or take.
Oh yeah, true, the Bulls.
So it's like, I think they could be top 5, but top 6 is a safe choice.
Yeah,
I would say top 4. Top 4 for
top
sure.
4.
Yeah.
So who do you think they can do better than?
I think they can be better than the Bulls. Well, I'll just say top 4 will be the Celtics, the Bucks, the Heat, and then Cavs. I don't trust the Sixers, to be honest.
That's why I said give or take. I was like, I don't know, but
like Donovan Mitchell was in the Western Conference, and obviously he had Rudy Gobert,
Mhm.
but if you saw them like last year, they had like no perimeter defense, and their offense was like shoddy. Like they'd often be like, Donovan, go play hero ball. If Bojan's open, throw it to him in the corner. Like it wasn't really a good system. But
Right.
now he's got like the playmaker that he's needed. Like he's had Mike Conley, who's been on his decline, and then he's had Ricky Rubio, who like not a bad player, but like not the fit that Donovan Mitchell needed. Like
Mhm.
you could rely on Ricky Rubio for passing, but not as like a second help, like a helper in the backcourt for him. Which Darius Garland is. He can score like on all the levels, and he can play make. And now he's got Jarrett Allen, who will probably fill that inside defense role that Rudy Gobert did. Plus, Evan
Better.
Mobley already went down the list. So I think he's got not only better personnel, but personnel that probably is better suited for his timeline. Because Donovan Mitchell's only 26.
Mhm.
Like that's a young star. Like he's just entering his prime. So I think they're a 4 seed because of that. I think maybe it even comes down to coaching. Are they putting the right matchups out
Yeah.
at the right time? I
That's
don't even
also
remember
why
who
I
the
said 6 too.
I don't
Yeah,
remember who the coach is for the Cavs.
I
I feel like
don't know.
I feel like all things are very reasonable because like fourth is like if they click right away. Fifth is like if there's some issues that need to be worked on, and sixth is like if it doesn't really work that well, but they're still a solid team.
Mhm.
So I feel like all those are very reasonable. It just depends on like how well the fit is, and like that's what's gonna take them far. Because like in our heads, it's working really well. Like, but like we can go out there and like all of a sudden like oh it's a complete shambles. Like Donovan wasn't the fit we thought, which is like a possibility because Russ was seen as like making the Lakers a super team.
Mhm.
And we saw what happened with that. So it's just like a small possibility that like Donovan Mitchell could maybe not work out. We haven't
Or
seen
an
him
injury
play.
happen. Like
Oh,
worst case
true.
scenario, someone gets injured, throws
Yeah,
everything off.
but I can see all of like our answers. Now, if we said you know, they're for sure making the playoffs, right? Like, can we say that? Do you think they're for sure making the playoffs, or you think they're gonna have to run the play-ins?
I think they'll definitely make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Top
they're
8
definitely
has to be. Yeah.
All right, just wanted to get that out of the way.
Even if depends on who gets injured, but if like a couple players got injured, I still think they could make it.
Yeah,
I
I think
think it might live and die with Jarrett Allen because he's like their defensive anchor, and I don't know who
Right.
their backup center is. They might have Evan Mobley play it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have no clue who the backup center is. Yeah, I think if everything like goes wrong, that's when they're not gonna make the playoffs.
Right.
Like a lot of stuff has to go wrong for them, in my opinion, for them not to make it. All right, moving on to the Western Conference Young Cores, and I'm starting. Okay, Pelicans. I'm on this ride or die Pelicans train. Okay, but in seriousness, like I mostly said it as a joke, but then I was like, no, I actually think they're a pretty solid young core. But without Zion, I think they're mediocre. I'm not gonna lie. If the core didn't have Zion, I think Hayes and Ingram and oh man, I forgot his name. The rookie
Herbert Jones.
Jones, yes.
Yeah.
If I feel like those three make them like a solid, but not like great. But I think with the addition of Zion, that makes them like a pretty exciting young core. Because Ingram's only 25, and Zion we haven't seen play a full season yet.
Not
And
even half a season.
Yeah, facts. So I don't know. I just feel like they're an exciting young core once like we actually see what they do. Like it's gonna prove me right or wrong. I'm not gonna lie though. After this season, if he doesn't play half a season this season, I'm low key gonna stop hyping up the Pelicans. I feel like 3 years
Oh.
is enough time.
So your dynasty take is in the dumpster then?
Oh yeah, for sure. If Zion gonna have a third scattered season where he plays for like 3 games and then he's injured for like 20 and then he plays for like if that happens 3 times in a row, I just feel like you can't really get excited about the Pelicans anymore. Just because like I'm not gonna say he's a bust or give up on him. I'm just gonna stop like being drinking the Kool-Aid basically. I'm just gonna stop being on the Pelicans hype train. I'm gonna like, it was a fun ride, but this is the 3rd season where he played like 50, 40 games. Like I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But other than that, like I feel like they can be exciting, especially with the addition of McCollum. Those young guys can probably learn so much from him.
Especially like BI,
Oh yeah. When
just
that
like
pitch
shooting wise and like ball handling wise or whatever. But yeah.
Another reason why I said Pelicans, that picture of him came out where he looked like a maniac. And I was like, oh, he's going crazy this season. I was like,
He literally
he's gonna
looked
go
like
insane.
a caveman, bro. It was insane.
I was like, when a player looks grimy, you know they're gonna go off.
It looked like, bro, it looked like he came out of quarantine. Like no shave, no nothing, bro. That was, bro, that was
Man
so
was
wild.
sleeping in the bleachers the whole offseason.
My team, you already know who I'm going with. The OKC Thunder, baby.
Shocker. Who's
Giddy
shocked?
up!
Who'd have thought?
Giddy up!
I would have been disappointed if you didn't say them.
True.
Nah, but like, it's like, bro, it's a given, They got all these stacked, first round draft picks. Everybody knows the story. And they've been capitalizing on them too. Like, it's not that they just have them, they're actually picking really good players. Like, they got both, I don't know how, but both of the Jalen Williams in the draft, this past draft. And then, SGA probably being the veteran. Lou Dort, great defensive guy. They have Derek Favors. I didn't know that.
My favorite up and coming player.
They got Pokuševski. If y'all know him, y'all know. And then they got Chet, but he's out for the season, unfortunately. Josh Giddey, So it's like, if everything comes together, they looking nice. That's all I'm saying.
And they have a lot of chances too. Like they have a lot of chances.
They can do over and do over and do over so much. Literally in the next 10 years, bro. They got like 5 do-overs. But I'm riding the Thunder train, bro, all the way.
Oh, I always wonder, like, obviously, like, a prospect team, but like, what the coach is gonna do. Like, obviously, you don't have like a log jam in Orlando at point guard or nothing, but there's a lot of young players and they probably want playing time, So it's like, where do you go for development wise? Like, if someone who is a more natural defensive presence, like, do you try to make him an offensive threat, like putting him in the corner as a 3-point shooter? Like, things like that. Like, where do you find like specializations in their skill set to, like, I guess, optimize like their development? So that's just like a question, like where each player goes.
I think so. You said they don't really have a log jam, but low key, they kind of do, because they have like 4 playmakers. They just all play different positions, SGA, he was the original one, came there while Russ was there. Russ left. Now he's, main option basically. Josh Giddey, playmaking shooting guard. I think he plays shooting guard. And then you got Chet and Poku now, thin towers, whatever they call them. They can play make at 7 feet tall. So it's just kind of like, who's gonna get the ball the most? You know what I'm saying?
I think for once, them not having a vet is like that many vets is gonna work out, because at least they're not sitting down just because like a vet's like, I want playing time, So at least they have the opportunity to like test out who goes where without having to worry about making a vet happy.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Derek Favors isn't commanding anything. I'm like 90% sure he's not like going to the front office being like, I'm unhappy. Like,
Demand me a trade.
yeah. So I just feel like this is like a good, especially now that Chet's injured. They know they're going to be in the same position they were relatively last season. So I just feel like it could be like even more time to like, okay, let's see how this person is at point guard and this person is at shooting guard, or what about these two? You know, it's like it's a good time to test everything out because they have time. They have plenty of it.
Right. And even if something doesn't work out, they still got like 18 more draft picks. So
Yeah,
first round
fact.
draft picks.
Yeah, and I think, well, give them a few years, and if they have that many playmakers, like the first thought would be, oh, there's only one ball, they can only do so much. But if they're in the playoffs against a team and they have 4 guys who can handle the ball, one of them being like Pukowski, like if you can get him in the block down low, and like he doesn't have to look at the guy in the corner and he throws it behind him, like that's hell.
Right.
Or like you got Josh Giddey, he's got the ball and he just makes a pass you don't even see coming to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who then throws it for an alley-oop. It's just like off each other like that. Like that would be a scary game.
Yeah.
Now
it
that
would
you
be.
mention it, like, or like bring that up specifically, just like their passing in general, I think they could be like a newer version of the Spurs, just in terms of like ball movement. I think I could see that. It's just, everything's got to work out right, but
Yeah, I can
mean,
definitely
it's
see
like
that.
stepping stone. Just gotta work your way there. Speaking of the Spurs, I have them as my Western Conference team. And I say this because all the guys I'm going to mention are 22 or younger. And that's not even all of them. Like these are just some notable ones. I got Malachi Branham, who I mentioned in my prospects in the prospects episode, and then Josh Primo, Jeremy Sochan, Keldon Johnson, Romeo Langford, Trey Jones, Devin Vassell. And I say this because I've talked about it in the past and how the Spurs are like, they find these rough rocks and they polish them into gems. And, not all gems are the same, but all gems are like precious, right? So like DeJounte Murray, low pick, but they stuck with him and like he's an all-star. That's like a diamond. And then Derek White, low draft pick. No one really heard of Derek White before. And like then they polished him. He's a ruby. He's a contributor to like a team with championship aspirations. So I think all of these guys are like these rough rocks they're going to polish into these different gems. Like right now, I think the brightest one is Keldon Johnson. He averaged like 17 points a game last season. So I think it's possible he breaks out into a 20-point scorer. And I don't
play
know
on
what.
the Olympics.
Yeah. So, so we got like very young guys on a team that's like known for like low draft picks turning into like gold mines. So I think maybe not all of them are the all-star DeJounte Murrays, but I think all of them will be NBA players. Like none of these guys are fizzle out and like go into obscurity or play overseas. Like there's a role for them and the Spurs are going to find it. Maybe they're not on the Spurs team in like 6 years from maybe they get traded or something, but they'll be like sought after because of what the Spurs are going to like do for them.
I think most Spurs fans would probably not be on the same page as you because that's a very optimistic outlook and they're so negative right now. Most Spurs fans are ready for a losing season and like are like being so like negative. So I feel like that's a really good take, but it's like at the same time I feel like you're probably the only person who sees it that way because a lot of people are looking at the Spurs coming up and being like, oh yeah, they're gonna be bottom feeding for a long time, which is gonna kind of be true. But like,
Yeah,
I don't
that would
think
be true for sure. Like,
I don't think
think
anyone's
that's-
optimistic.
They don't have like a Tim Duncan who's like already good right now. They don't have a Manu
Yeah.
Ginobili or Tony Parker. They got DeJounte Murray took 6 years to become an all-star. And like his first season, he was averaging like 4 points a game. So these things take time.
Yeah,
So Spurs fans are gonna have to be patient.
yeah.
Like I feel like this makes more sense, like rebuilding, than it would to have DeMar DeRozan on the team still. Like that, they're kind of like stuck in the middle of the road. Not quite good enough to have like a real shot in the playoffs, but they weren't like gathering young talent as they should have been.
Yeah.
And then they ended up losing DeRozan for nothing. So now they're like, okay, we have a direction to go to. And it's not exactly exciting watching your team like be ass, but like
Yeah.
kind of good.
I
You
can
gotta go through
attest. I know exactly what that feels like.
it.
Yeah. I feel like it's gonna be weird for a franchise that's used to winning. It's definitely gonna be weird for those fans. But like,
Because like the Spurs, like historically, like they're the most winningest franchise. Like they got the highest win percentage on any team, like by far. So
yeah.
like they're just going to get used to this phase they're going through.
It's definitely going to take a few seasons, assuming, it kind of goes like how the Lakers went. We had to go through them Jody Meek years and the young Jordan Clarkson years. Like it might take a minute, but they'll get over the hump for sure, especially with Pop as their coach. He's not going to retire probably for another few seasons, so they'll be all right. They just got to tough it out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's about time. They need to get used to losing for a little bit. Spurs fans have been so optimistic for years. They've always been like, oh, we might win it this year for too long. It's about time to get used to losing. All right. We'll do our teams first before we do honorable mentions. So why don't we? I'll go first just because I already know how I feel about my young core. They're not going to get played. Like Michael Porter Jr. is like the only rookie in a long time who's actually got good playing time. Like maybe Bones Highland, but even then he was like on and off in like playing time. There'll be times where he'd be bench warming, and there'll be times where he gets good amount. I just feel like the Nuggets want to win with what they have so badly to where they're not like even trying to test the waters with our younger guys. I mean, Bol got shipped off. And like we don't like most people probably don't even know he's on the Magic now. I feel like you tell someone like Bol's on the Magic, they're gonna be shocked because like it's been so long since his name has been spoken. Just like in general. So I just feel like I didn't even bother this year. Usually I would look into our rookies, but this year I did not like bother. I was like, honestly, why am I gonna get hyped for these guys when I know they're probably not gonna play that much?
Right.
So that's how I feel about my young core.
I mean, you kind of already mentioned it. Like the only two young guys who are going to get minutes is Michael Porter Jr. and Bones Highland. Like,
yeah,
all I hear from Nuggets fans is Bones Highland, Bones Highland, Bones Highland. They're so hyped.
Oh, fans are high on Bones Highland, which makes it worse for them because he's like is barely like getting playing time, and he's a solid player. Like
he's very good. He's very good.
So like I don't know. For once, the fan base and the team is not on the same page because Nuggets fans are like over optimistic. They're so optimistic, Nuggets fans, to the point where I'm like annoyed. I'm like, why? Why are you happy about that season we had? That was not a good season.
Campazzo is going to eat up Bones Highland minutes.
Oh, for sure. I'm a Campazzo hater.
Bro, I'm a Campazzo lover. What you talking about, bro?
No way. I'm a Campazzo. I'm praying on his downfall.
Bro, he's fine, bro. He's fine.
He was fire when he was first on the team. I'm not going to lie. I was like, yo, Campazzo's nice. And then he stuck around and took more minutes. And I was like, why is he still here? I was like, I thought he would be gone by now. And he's still there.
Nah, I was kind of surprised too in his case because I feel like a lot of the EuroLeague players that come here, with the exception of Luka, they don't stick around for longer than a season.
Yeah.
How we saw what's his face? You guys remember Milos Teodosic from the Clippers?
Oh, on the Clippers? Yeah.
Like, raw. Dude was raw. Got dropped like
have.
halfway through the season. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
He did like highlights of his passes and like he was gone.
Yeah.
Like that's all
Oh,
he's good for.
That's basically what happened with Dragic.
Yep.
Dragic's been bouncing around the league for a couple years now.
Yep. And it sucks too, because like he's actually a really good player. So
He is.
I don't know. I thought that was gonna happen to Campazzo, but I guess the Nuggets see something in him.
The Nuggets see something in every foreign player because I think we just signed like 2 foreign players. We signed an Australian one and then like some guy from the EuroLeague. And I was like, why are we doing this? Like, I was like, yeah, I know Jokic worked out really well for us, but not every European guy is gonna be Jokic. Like, chill out. But that's a topic for another day. Why don't we work our way to the clearly better core team here? So let's go with Eugene next. We'll work our way to. I'll work our way to
okay,
Vaughn.
okay.
Yeah.
I just looked up our roster. We have 2 players that are 23 years old. Everyone else is older. So, we still got Melo, LeBron. We rocking with Russ. Patrick Beverly's 34. I didn't even know that. DJ Augustine is 34. Kent Bazemore is 33. Our team's just old. Wayne Ellington is 34.
Wayne Ellington.
It's looking crazy rough, bro.
Does that are you worried that you don't have a young presence, or are you like, we're the Lakers, we'll probably get like a star?
Bro, Dennis Schroeder is 29.
Dang, I didn't even know that.
I thought he was younger than that.
So did I.
Sorry, what was your question?
I said, are you worried that the Lakers don't have a young presence, or are you like, we're gonna get stars? Like, where are you on that scale?
Okay, I'm gonna predict the future.
Oop. Bold.
Here's what's gonna happen. We're all old. We have Austin Reeves. We have some 19-year-old player. We have Lonnie Walker. We have JTA, who's also 29. I did not know that. And then maybe Anthony Davis and Avery Bradley, maybe, who will stick around after the older players will leave, LeBron, Melo, all them. But here's what's gonna happen. The older players are gonna leave. I don't know what draft picks we have, if they're good or not. I don't think we do. So we're either going to start trading for younger players and, with the draft picks that we do have, try and draft the best available option. You know what I'm saying? But I think we're literally going to go back to the Jody Meek era. Just have a bunch of trash players and lose for a minute before we start winning again. That's what I think is going to happen, but I could be wrong. Pelinka could have something up his sleeve.
So you're saying it's going to be the fall of the Showtime Lakers 2.0, where you have to wait for like a Kobe to come save the team.
Literally. It's going to be bad. Once LeBron leaves, everyone is going to leave because, nobody's going to want to be there. Yeah. We might have some superstar who's like, nobody's on this team, so let me try and, go there, because, who doesn't want to be in LA? But I think we're just going to have a bunch of role players and, younger players after, it's just going to completely flip-flop.
Yeah.
So I always see the rumors of the trades for the Lakers because everyone in the media loves the Lakers and won't stop talking about them. But their only 2 tradable first-round picks is in 2027 and 2029, and they keep talking about Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, and then players on the Jazz. So even if they don't play or don't make those trades, that's still a long ways out. 2027.
Yeah. That's 5 years. Like, and to have a first round pick, you know, like that's bad.
that's pretty rough. So your prediction might come true, word for word.
And I don't see us trading for first round picks, you know?
Yeah,
We definitely could, but I don't see us doing that.
yeah. It's
I feel
gonna be a weird
there.
time for the Lakers.
I think there's a scenario where like Anthony Davis is on his last year contract. He's like, all right, let me go, trade me somewhere. And then the Lakers really need to get some kicks out of that, maybe. I
Yeah.
always feel like Anthony Davis will leave for like the Bulls at some point in his career, maybe towards the back end. That's just what I
think,
expect.
yeah, I think that would definitely happen on some like Dwayne Wade, you know?
Hometown run.
Yeah.
All right, and saving the best for last. Vaughn with the Celtics.
All right. I think for far as the young cores go that we've talked about today, like the Celtics are definitely like on the older side of those young cores because
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown's 25, Jason Tatum's 24, Robert Williams 24, Peyton Pritchard 24, Grant Williams 23, and then we got one rookie who's 19, J.D. Davidson. He's not going to get minutes, so I don't even know. He might be a G League superstar, but he won't blossom out on blowout Celtics anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, if this young core just went to the finals, you have high expectations for them moving forward. Like none of these teams that we talked about up to this point have like been anywhere close to like that good. We always say, oh, in the future they'll be good,
Mm-hmm.
but the Celtics are like good right now.
Yeah.
And as far as young cores go, like that's a young core you want. But to be honest, you don't win just with the core. Like you have to build around them. And I think that's the thing about all these young teams is, yeah, you got to develop that young talent, but you also need to build around them. And the Celtics have been able to do that with Marcus Smart, 28, Derek White, 28, Malcolm Brogdon, 29, Al Horford, 36. I think
Yeah.
we won a lot of games in the playoffs because of those guys specifically. Because Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they go cold, and then all of a sudden Al Horford shooting like he's Steph Curry. Like Derek White couldn't make a three like through the whole Bucks series, and like he comes to the Warriors and like he can't miss, or suddenly. Like Marcus Smart is like hitting threes that he shouldn't be shooting at all. It's just like things like that. Like you gotta have like those older guys, those well, they're not even old. Like Marcus Smart, Derek White, 28. Al Horford's old though, 36. That's wild.
The Chris.
But yeah, like that's like the blueprint you want. You got your young core, and then like you put the pieces around them, and this is how you get here. So you can't even like foresee what those other young teams are going to do because like how do you know what 36-year-old are you going to put on the Magic that you think is going to help those guys play to the best of their ability? You just don't know. So it's definitely one of those things that has to like unfold because we didn't just get here like overnight. Like Jason Tatum, first round pick, was traded down to third round pick. We fleeced the Sixers for him. The pick that we fleeced from the Nets and the Paul Pierce Kevin Garnett trade. Like this is all like years in the making. So I guess it just really comes down to teams being patient. Because we had them bad years too, post Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce.
Facts.
Like yeah, them shits were rough. So you gotta hold out.
All right. Yeah. Obviously, without a doubt, the most successful young core. Like literally the Eastern Conference multiple times. Like finals matchup. Like if I was a general manager with a young core, I would look at the Celtics and copy what they did. Because to do all that with a young core who is your main core, basically, like their young core was their main core for a long time. So like, I don't know if I'm these teams and I'm like, damn, what did the Celtics do that we're not? Because like they're a very successful team, especially like Vaughn said, it's not like they weren't like on down on their luck. Like they were on down like down bad, but like worked their way to where they're at now.
Hmm.
So I just feel like they're definitely like a blueprint.
I think one advantage is having a defensive-minded coach. We had Brad Stevens and now Ime Udoka. Those guys both value defense more than anything. I mean, we were the number one defense last year for a good while in the playoffs. I mean, it showed when like Kevin Durant was like shitting the bed, or just those defensive performances. I think that's what really like made a mark on them as players, because like you see a lot of young guys who could potentially be good defensively, like LaMelo Ball. Like as a point guard, he's like one of the tallest ones out there, and he's got the length to be a good defensive guard. He's got the length. He's just got to like someone's got to be there coaching wise to develop that sense for him. But that probably won't happen. Like there's no Jaylen Brown 2.0 there waiting for him on the defensive end. So I think that's just one big major factor that's helped this Celtics team develop.
So you brought up the Hornets, but I don't know if they're going to be brought up in this part of the show. Honorable mentions, just real quick, not too lengthy. Just shoot them off.
I would say the Grizzlies.
Yeah, for
oh,
sure.
yeah, Grizzlies, for sure.
For sure. Another young core / main core. Like
Mhm.
they're doing really well.
I'd say
Especially in the
Pistons.
conference too.
Oh yeah.
Pistons, yep.
Oh, Pistons. I feel like Pistons are a little bit more scary because it's Detroit.
Yeah.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
I think
Well,
things
here's a-
could work out though.
Oh yeah.
Specifically, I got Kate Cunningham in mind, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart. I think those three will work together really well. I didn't even know Kevin Knox was on that team. I forgot he got traded for a first rounder or something from the
I
Knicks.
didn't know that either. I had no idea that Kevin Knox was still in the league.
And Kemba Walker's still in the Pistons. They haven't waived him. So
Really?
That's
that was
great.
a weird trade.
They also got
Bagley
Bagley too.
Yeah,
Marvin
and
Bagley,
he's
Sadiq
improving
Bey.
over there.
And their
So they
draft
have
pick,
to be young
Jay
players.
Ivey. Yep.
Mhm.
Solid. Definitely solid young team.
Yeah. Let's just hope Detroit, does something. Or actually, you know what? Let's hope Detroit doesn't do something. Hawks. I feel
Mhm.
like they have a pretty solid young core. Rockets,
Yep.
another solid young core.
Actually,
feel
about
like-
the Rockets, I feel like there's only four guys like to keep an eye on: Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, of course, and then Jabari Smith Jr. and maybe Kenyon Martin Jr. But like everyone else is like those are big mystery marks. Like I don't know anyone else.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I
Like
don't.
Eric Gordon's still on that team for some reason. He's gonna be taking minutes.
So
to
weird.
build the young-
So weird. I remember when we first started doing the podcast, and it was like one of our first episodes where I had to look at teams and our rosters, and I saw that Eric Gordon was still in the Rockies, and I was like, why? I was like, why is he still there? Why did he not run away? All right. Those are, I feel like we hit all the marks on young cores. It's kind of, showed a little, didn't necessarily go with the obvious ones, which I think was good. Next week's topic will be big threes, which basically the same format as today's episode of Young Cores. One East big team, one West big team, big three. And does our team have a big three? Does it not have a big three? Thank you for listening. Check us out on Apple, Spotify for the audio version. Make sure you give us that 5 stars. For the video format, we are on YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Sir.
Later.